This soup is delicious. Yeah, the best.
I'm glad you like it.
More, please. Father, why?
We trusted you.
You poisoned us because of a woman you know nothing about. You poisoned us! You killed your family because of a woman you know nothing about. Why did you poison your family because of another woman?
He didn't lose his family. He killed them, one by one, with his own hands. Not for money, not for revenge, but for a woman who never loved him. He poisoned his wife. He poisoned his children. And when it was over, he ran to another woman, expecting love. What she did next broke him forever. The village of Obinagu was a place where laughter once lived. Children ran barefoot across red earth. Women sang as they pounded yam. Men returned at dusk with sweat on their brows and pride in their hearts. And in the center of this quiet life lived a man named Ezechi. Ezechi was not rich. He was not powerful, but he was complete. He had a wife, Amara, a woman whose love was not loud but steady, like the river that never runs dry. And children, 4 of them. Chinedu, the eldest, wise beyond his years. Adaize, gentle, always smiling. Obina, stubborn but full of laughter. And little Somto, who still slept beside her mother at night. Their hut was small, but it was filled with something many wealthy men could never buy: peace. The day everything changed. It began on the day of the New Yam Festival. The entire kingdom gathered in the king's square. Drums echoed like thunder. Dancers painted in white clay spun like spirits. And that was when Ezechi saw her. She stood beside the king, not dancing, not smiling, just watching. Her name was Inneka, a woman so beautiful that conversations died when she walked past. Skin like polished bronze, eyes cold yet hypnotic. Men desired her, women envied her, but no one truly knew her. Ezechi felt something dangerous that day. Not love, obsession, the seed of madness. That night, he could not sleep. Amara lay beside him, her breathing calm, one arm wrapped around little Somto. But Ezechi stared into the darkness. He saw Inneka's face, again and again and again. By morning, something had shifted inside him. The first meeting. Days later, he followed her. Yes, followed her. Through narrow paths behind the palace, into a grove where even birds did not sing. She knew he was there. Without turning, she said, "If you continue to follow me, you will not like what you find." Ezechi's voice trembled. "I don't fear you." She laughed. Not like a woman, like something older. She turned. "You are married?" "Yes." "You have children?" "Yes." She stepped closer, too close. "And yet, you are here." Silence. Then she whispered the words that would destroy everything. "Would you leave them for me?" The test. Ezechi hesitated, just for a moment. That moment could have saved his life. But desire is louder than reason when it takes root. "Yes," he said. Inneka smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Men always say yes, but few are willing to prove it. She walked past him, then stopped. Without turning, she said, "If you truly want me, you must come to me with nothing tying you to your past." Ezechi frowned. "What do you mean?" She finally turned. Her eyes were no longer human. No wife, no children, no attachments. The air became heavy. "Remove them, and I will be yours." The war inside him. That night, Ezechi sat outside his hut. He watched his children laugh. Obina chased Adaize. Somto clung to Amara's wrapper. Chinedu helped his mother carry water. This was his life. This was his world. And yet, Ineka's voice echoed in his mind. "Remove them, and I will be yours." Amara noticed his silence. She sat beside him. "You've been distant." He forced a smile. "Just tired." She rested her head on his shoulder. "Whatever it is, we will face it together." Those words should have saved him, but instead, they made him feel trapped. The decision. Days passed. The voice did not stop. The desire grew. The obsession deepened. Until one evening, Ezechi went to a herbalist, not for healing, but for something else, something final. "I need something strong," he said. The old herbalist looked at him carefully. "For what purpose?" Ezechi hesitated, then lied. "For rats." The herbalist handed him a small calabash. "Be careful. This kills quickly and without mercy." The night of no return. That night, the house was too quiet. Not the kind of quiet that brings peace, but the kind that means something is about to end. The wooden table was set like any other night. A cracked clay bowl in the center, steam rising from the soup, the smell of pepper, palm oil, and life itself. Amara smiled as she served the children. "Eat well, my children." Somto clapped his hands. Obina laughed. Adaize hummed softly. Chinedu bowed his head in prayer. And Ezechi sat still, too still, watching, not eating, just watching them like a man memorizing faces he would never see again. Inside Ezechi's head, nothing was calm. It was war. Amara's voice echoed. "We will face everything together." Then Neka's voice burned louder. "Remove them, and I will be yours." Two worlds colliding. One full of love, one full of poison. And Ezechi chose the poison. Chinedu was the first to notice something strange. "Father, why aren't you eating?" Ezechi forced a smile. "I will eat later." Chinedu studied him, but said nothing. Then he ate. One spoon, then another, then another. Amara also ate. So did the others. The only sound in the room was chewing and laughter, slowly fading into comfort. It started small. Somto dropped his spoon. "Mama, my stomach." Amara turned. "What did you say?" Obina suddenly winced. Adaize froze. Chinedu stood up slowly. "Father, something is wrong." Ezechi did not move. Not yet. Not until he was sure. Amara felt it next. Her hand trembled. The ball slipped slightly. Her eyes slowly lifted to Ezechi, and in that moment she understood. Not guessed, not suspected, understood. Her voice broke. "Ezechi, what did you do?" Silence. the kind of silence that breaks worlds. Ezechi finally stood, slowly, like a man walking into judgment. He didn't answer her. He didn't deny it. He just looked at her, and that was enough. Amara staggered back. "These are your children." Her voice cracked into pain. "I carried them. I suffered for them. I prayed for them." Tears filled her eyes. "How could you?" One by one, the children began to collapse. Somto first. He fell beside the table, still holding a piece of food. "Mama." Then Obina. Then Adaize. Chinedu was still standing, shaking, refusing to fall. He looked at Ezechi. "Father, why?" That question pierced deeper than any blade. Chinedu finally collapsed, not with noise, but with disappointment, the kind that kills before poison ever does. Now only Amara remained standing, barely. She walked toward Ezechi, slowly, every step pain, every breath betrayal. She reached him and grabbed his wrapper. Was it her? Ezechi's eyes flickered. That was enough. Amara laughed, a broken laugh. "So love became death." Amara staggered. "And you chose a stranger over your own blood?" Her voice dropped into a whisper. May the same eyes that looked at her never find peace again. She collapsed, slowly, like the world itself was letting go. The house was now still. No laughter, no movement, no breath of children. Only Ezechi standing in the middle of what used to be his life. He looked at his hands. They were not shaking. That was the worst part. Then he whispered, "She will still choose me." He believed it, even now, even here. Covered in the consequences of his own hands, he still believed Nneka would accept him. Because obsession does not die easily. It mutates. But what Ezechi didn't know was that some promises are not meant to be kept, and some women were never human to begin with.
He thought it was over when the last breath left the room. But some deaths do not end a story. They begin it. Night fell over Obinago like a heavy cloth. But inside Ezechi's hut, time did not feel normal anymore. The air had changed. It was thicker, heavier, like the house itself was now holding its breath. The bodies lay where they fell. No cries, no movement, only silence and memory. Ezechi stood alone, still, watching, waiting for something he could not name. He walked slowly through the room. He stopped beside Somto, then Obina, then Adeaze, then Chinedu, finally Amara. He crouched beside her. Her eyes were half open, not fully gone, not fully here. And for a moment, Ezechi whispered, "You will understand when she comes." But the word sounded wrong, even to him. It began with sound. Not outside, inside. A faint giggle. Ezechi froze. He turned. Nothing. Only darkness. Then again, a child's laugh. Soft. Far. Impossible. He whispered, "Who is there?" Silence answered. He stepped outside. The village was asleep. Dogs were quiet. The wind had stopped. Even the night seemed afraid. But when he turned back, the hut looked different. The doorway felt wider, like something inside was now looking back at him. That night, he did not sleep. He sat near the wall, watching the bodies, counting breaths that no longer existed. Then, a shadow moved near Somto. Ezechi stood instantly. "Who is there?" Silence. Then, Somto's small voice. "Papa?" Ezechi froze, slowly turned. Nothing moved, but the voice came again, closer. "Papa, I am cold." Ezechi staggered back. No, you are dead." He pressed his hands to his ears, but the voice was now everywhere. "Chinedu, you said you would protect us. Adiaze, why did you give us that food?" Obina, "Father, I trusted you." Ezechi began shaking. "Stop it! Stop it!" But the voices did not stop. They multiplied. Then, silence again. Heavy silence. Then Amara's voice. Not soft, not kind, but final. "Ezechi," he turned slowly. She was still lying there, but her voice came from everywhere. "You did not kill them for love. You killed them because you are empty." Ezechi fell to his knees. "No, I did it for her." A pause. Then Amara laughed. Not human laughter, something deeper, older. And where is she now? That question hit him harder than poison ever did. He stood slowly, looked around the room. The bodies were still there, but now they felt like they were watching him, judging him. Ezechi whispered, "She will come," but his voice cracked. Even he didn't believe it anymore. The wind returned suddenly, but it did not feel like wind. It felt like breathing around him, inside the hut, between the walls. The lamps flickered. The shadows moved incorrectly. Too slowly, then too fast. Somto's body shifted slightly. Ezechi jumped back. No! But nothing else moved. Only silence, mocking him. Ezechi ran outside, breathing hard, sweat pouring down his face. But the village was no longer comforting. It felt unfamiliar, like it no longer belonged to him. He whispered. It was supposed to be love, but even the night refused to answer. Behind him, her voice again. Calm. Now. Too calm. You wanted her more than us. So now, you will have neither us nor her. A pause. Then, only us. Ezechi froze. Slowly turned back. The hut door was open, but no one had moved. Yet all the voices inside were now laughing together. Ezechi stood at the entrance, looking at his family. Dead, but not silent anymore. Not peaceful, not gone. They were awake in a way he could not understand, watching him, waiting. And in the distance, very far in the darkness of the village path, a figure stood, watching the hut, smiling. Neka. But when Ezechi blinked, she was gone. And that was the night Ezechi learned that death does not silence love. It only changes who speaks.
He thought the worst moment was the killing. He was wrong. The worst moment was when they refused to stay dead. Dawn came to Obinago, but it brought no warmth. The sky was pale, almost sickly. Birds did not sing near Ezechi's compound. Even the wind avoided his hut. Inside, nothing had changed. The bodies were still there. But Ezechi had not slept, not even for a moment. His eyes were wide open, like a man waiting for judgment. He stood slowly. His joints felt heavy. He looked at Amara, then the children, then back again. He whispered. It was a dream, but the smell reminded him otherwise. Reality refused to cooperate. Outside, footsteps approached. A woman neighbor, Ugochi, walked toward the compound with a calabash. She stopped, frowned. Something felt wrong. Ezechi, why is your house so quiet this morning? No answer. She stepped closer. Then she saw the doorway. She froze. Her calabash slipped. It shattered. Ugochi's scream tore through the village like thunder. Death has visited this house. People began running. Drums of panic replaced drums of peace. Men gathered sticks. Women cried. Children hid behind walls. And all of them moved toward Ezechi's hut. Inside, Ezechi heard everything. The screams, the footsteps, the growing storm outside. But he did not move. He just stood there, waiting, like a man who already belonged to another world. The door burst open. Elders entered first, then hunters, then priests, and what they saw stopped time. 4 children, 1 wife, still, silent, cold. A woman collapsed instantly. Another began to wail. A man turned away in shock. But Ezechi remained standing, in the middle of it all, like he was part of the scene, not separate from it. The chief stepped forward. His voice shook with rage. Ezechi, what have you done? Silence. Then again, what have you done? Ezechi blinked slowly, then whispered. She said she would come. Confused silence filled the room. Who? Ezechi looked up. Neka. At the mention of her name, the elders stiffened. One old priest stepped back. You spoke to Neka. Another elder whispered. That name should not be spoken in daylight. Ezechi frowned. She told me to remove them. The room went still. Even the crying stopped. The chief stepped back slowly. You mean you did this because of a woman? Ezechi nodded. Simple, certain, still broken inside. Then the chief whispered, there is no woman in this kingdom named Neka who is alive. Ezechi froze. For the first time, uncertainty entered his eyes. No, she speaks to the king. She stands in the palace. A hunter shook his head. There is no woman who stands beside the king. Silence. Heavy. Impossible. Ezechi stepped back. His breath quickened. Images blurred in his mind. The grove, the palace, her voice, her face. But now it all felt distant, unstable, like a dream someone else told him. A child's body shifted slightly. The room froze. Ezechi turned sharply. Did you see that? No one answered, but the fear in the room changed shape. Then Amara's voice again, soft, close, too close. They are watching you now. Ezechi span around. Stop it! But Amara's body lay still. Yet the voice continued. One elder whispered, he is not speaking to us anymore. Another stepped back. He is speaking to them, the bodies, the dead, the unseen. And for the first time, the village did not just see a murderer. They saw something worse. Ezechi fell to his knees, covering his ears. She said she would come for me. She said she would be mine. But his voice was no longer confident. It was afraid. A child's laugh echoed faintly. The villagers heard nothing, but Ezechi heard everything. The chief stepped forward. "You will come with us." But Ezechi did not respond. He was staring at something behind them. The villagers turned. Nothing. But Ezechi whispered, "She's here." And for the first time, he smiled. Not peace, not joy. Something broken, something final. The village thought they had found a murderer, but what they had found was a man who was no longer living, alone in his mind.
They said her name should not be spoken, not because she was powerful, but because every man who spoke it stopped belonging to himself. Ezechi was no longer taken as a man in custody. He was guarded like something dangerous. 2 hunters stood outside the hut, not to protect him, but to protect the village from him. Inside, the air was heavier than before. The bodies still lay in place. But now, even the villagers refused to look at them too long. Something about the room felt awake. By midday, the village priest arrived, an old man known as Okeke the listener. He did not speak at first. He simply entered the hut, slowly, carefully, like someone entering a sacred place or a cursed one. Then he saw the bodies, and he closed his eyes, not in grief, in recognition. "This is not only death," he whispered. "This is invitation." Ezechi stepped forward quickly. "She told me to do it." The priest turned slowly. "Who?" Ezechi's voice shook slightly now. "Neka." The priest froze, just for a moment. Then his face changed. Not surprise, fear. The priest stepped back. "You spoke to Neka." The room felt colder instantly. Ezechi nodded. "She is the reason." The priest raised a hand. "Stop speaking." Silence. Heavy. Immediate. The priest turned to the elders outside. "No one speaks that name lightly." Then back to Ezechi. "Because Neka is not a woman." Ezechi frowned. "She is real. I saw her." The priest shook his head slowly. "You saw what she wanted you to see." The priest entered the hut fully. He circled the bodies once, then spoke without looking at anyone. "Neka is not flesh. She is not blood. She is hunger, wearing beauty." The villagers outside began to whisper, fear spreading. The priest continued, "Neka does not kill men directly. She whispers into what is already broken." A pause. Then she watches them destroy themselves. Ezechi stepped back. "No, she promised me." The priest turned sharply. That is her only language. The priest pointed toward the bodies. "Look at them." Ezechi refused. The priest's voice grew harder. "Look." Ezechi finally did. The priest spoke slowly. "A man does not wake up one day and poison his family, unless something has been speaking inside him for a long time." Silence. Ezechi frowned. His breathing slowed. Something inside him shifted. He whispered, "She said remove them." The priest nodded slowly. "Yes, but did she touch the poison?" Ezechi froze. A thought began forming, unwanted, dangerous. Ezechi's voice dropped. "She didn't give me the poison." Silence. The priest stepped closer. "Who did?" Ezechi hesitated. The memory flickered. The hadalist, the calabash, his own hands. His breath shook. I went. The priest nodded slowly. You see now, she did not force you. She only opened the door. Ezechi stepped back. No, no, she said, but his voice broke because even he could not finish the sentence. The hut grew silent, too silent. Even the villagers outside stopped whispering. Then, a child's laugh, soft, from nowhere. Ezechi froze. Do you hear that? No one answered. The priest closed his eyes. She is listening now. Amara's voice returned, but different. Not angry, not soft. Curious. You are trying to understand her, but you still think she's outside you. Ezechi trembled. Leave me alone. The voice continued. I did not come into your house. I came into your desire. The elders outside began moving away from the hut. One whispered, this is not a man anymore. Another, something is speaking through him. Inside, Ezechi was shaking now, not from fear of punishment, but from confusion. The priest spoke one last time. Nneka does not destroy families. She reveals what already wants to be destroyed. A pause. Then, and you, Ezechi, you were already breaking before she arrived. Silence. Ezechi looked down at his hands. For the first time, he did not see a man victim of deception. He saw a man who still made a choice. And somewhere beyond the veil of what is real, something smiled, because the man finally began to doubt the only truth that kept him alive.
When a man becomes feared by his own people, he is no longer alive among them. He is only waiting to be removed. The village did not speak for long after the priest's words, but silence did not mean peace. It meant decision. Ezechi was no longer a man to be questioned. He was a danger that had to be contained. At dusk, the elders gathered, not to judge him, but to erase him from the safety of the village. One spoke, he will not leave this place freely. Another, because something is still with him. Outside, Ezechi sat near the hut, talking softly to nothing, smiling at moments no one else could see. The priest approached him alone. You will leave before sunrise. Ezechi looked up slowly. She is not done with me. The priest answered, neither are your dead. Silence. Then Ezechi whispered, they are not angry anymore. They are waiting. That night, no one slept near his hut, not because of fear of him, but fear of what spoke through him. And so, the village did not kill him. They simply pushed him closer to something worse. Some curses are not spoken. They are remembered repeatedly until they become real. Ezechi began walking at night, not escaping, not hiding, just walking, talking, laughing, sometimes stopping to listen to voices no one else heard. Amara's voice changed, no longer soft, no longer human. Now it echoed like it came from inside his skull. You still think you were tricked, but you remember every step. He began arguing with himself, one voice blaming Nneka, one voice remembering his own hands. The priest observed from distance. The curse is not on his body, it is on his certainty. Ezechi stands in the forest at night, whispering, come and finish what you started. But the forest answers, only with silence, because something already lives inside him now. There are spirits that do not possess bodies, they possess decisions. The priest finally reveals the forbidden truth. Nneka is not a woman, not a spirit in the normal sense. She is a reflection force, something that appears only to men already divided inside. She is desire that learns your language and then speaks it better than your conscience. Ezechi shakes.
But I saw her. The priest replies, yes, because you needed her to be real. Neka does not follow men. She appears at the moment they are already choosing destruction. She simply makes the choice feel like love. Ezechi whispers, so I did this? The priest nods, yes. Guilt does not kill a man. It splits him into pieces and makes him live in all of them. Ezechi is now fully unstable. He speaks to Amara, then answers himself as Neka, then cries as his children. Not as a criminal, but as a man becoming unrecognizable. He walks through the village speaking, she is coming, but no one sees anyone behind him. He begins begging unseen figures, take me instead, but silence remains the only reply. At night, Ezechi lies beside the empty hut, whispering, I want to go back. But the dead answer, there is no back. Every story ends the same way for men who refuse to face themselves alone. The village finds Ezechi missing. No struggle, no escape, just absence. He is seen walking towards the forest, slow, calm, talking softly. I understand now. In the forest, he stops, smiles. Not madness, not peace, acceptance. You are never a woman. Silence. Then, you are me. Ezechi sits down, and for the first time, the voices stop arguing. They agree. He whispers, I am sorry. And the forest answers, nothing, because forgiveness is not part of what he became. They say Ezechi never returned to the village, but sometimes, on nights when silence feels too heavy, people still hear him talking to someone who is never there.